So research shows that men are most drawn to women's mouths, especially when they're wearing lipstick, highlighting the lips, of course, more so than any other feature. It's the mouth, in particular the lips, then the teeth. But lips are by far number one. The best part is most of these are very inexpensive today. I'm going to show you at the end of this video also how we go from this to this and what changes we made. As I remove those markings, I want you to look at this picture, and at the end of it, I'll show you how, with very little product, we create a more V-shaped look. And particularly, of course, today we're talking about lips. What do you see different in the lower mouth? I'll demonstrate exactly how. What spurred this video? Well, I had a patient come in last week and she said, "Doc, I had an awkward first kiss moment with a guy I'd been hanging out with for a few months." She said everything was going well, but then she said he jolted me out of my stupefied trance. So I was on the edge of my seat, of course. I said, "Well, what did he say?" He said, "Oh, wow, your lips are real," like he was in shock. He then went on to say, usually women with big lips have them filled. They have fillers in them. And when you kiss them, it feels like you're kissing a tube of silicone. So I knew then, after she told me this story, that I needed to provide you with more natural options for lips that aren't filler, although we'll talk a little bit about filler today as well. You may be shocked to see how consistent study after study shows that fuller lips are perceived as more attractive. But what's more shocking is the symmetry. Symmetry is crucial according to the studies, showing that symmetrical lips are associated with better health and better genetics, therefore more procreation. That's the basis thought to be. You see, the lips are also the way that the human brain distinguishes between men and women. Other studies have shown that lip size in women is a key sexual attractive feature, and that women with fuller lips tend to be very popular and more popular. So there's no question why women have the impulse, I did say impulse, to emphasize their lips. And now it's an $800 impulse if you're getting fillers. That's what a vial of lip filler costs today in a reputable, well-trained clinic. But not today. I have something better, less expensive, and more natural. Some of it is totally natural. We can narrow it down to three main reasons that lip fillers have blown up on top of what I just told you. Number one is social media. Number two, it's created millions, I did say millions of dollars for med spas. In fact, it was the number one treatment during the shutdown recently when people even had to wear masks. They were still getting lip fillers. Imagine. And number three is envy. The younger generation, yes, I did say envy, they have envy of people who are getting fillers, although, yeah, some have denied it until the end. And no, in case you're wondering, I'm not going to cover this crazy lip suction trend. Yeah, for those of you not in the know, this is what it is here. This is what they're doing, using suction on the lips to get bigger lips. People try anything, but some of this is dangerous, not good. We're not going over this. The top three changeable lip features I address every day in my clinic are, number one is loss of color. People want more redness. Here's another shocker to most. Red lips mimic biological signals. Yes, the color red is associated with attractiveness due to the increase of blood flow. This occurs during times of what? Two main reasons. Number one, sexual arousal, and number two, overall general good health. These are two sought-out characteristics. Now, historically, of course, women have used the red color in lipstick and other methods to mimic that natural signal. Today, I'll show you how there are other ways to do this more long-term and beneficial. Number two, balancing the face. Some people feel like their lips are too small. They're not quite the right shape. There's the M-shaped lip. Maybe the lips aren't wide enough, or they're too wide for their face. And number three, vertical lip lines. They're an aging feature and they're starting younger and younger. Let's start here pretty much with free and proven. I'm going to give you two DIY formulas from my in-the-know patients who look amazing and use these. Number 1 is a cinnamon and olive oil lip scrub. The ingredients you're going to need: 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of olive oil. I love olive oil. And that's it. What do? You mix the cinnamon and the olive oil and you create a paste. You apply the mixture to your lips and gently scrub for about a minute. This lets your lip get more, of course, moist with the olive oil, but it adds a redness and it plumps as well. You're going to leave that on for about a minute and let the cinnamon's natural plumping properties take effect. Then you rinse it off with warm water and apply a lip balm to keep everything sealed in. Here's a second recipe that my patients like and tell me about. Peppermint oil lip balm. What are you going to use? 1 tablespoon of coconut oil in this case. You could use petroleum jelly. A few drops of peppermint essential oil. This is essential oil, not cold pressed seed oil, but essential oil. What do you do with this? You want to mix the coconut oil with a few drops of the peppermint oil. Apply the mixture to your lips. The peppermint oil will increase blood flow and it makes them red and plump. And there's a longer lasting effect too. Some people like to massage this around. And then of course you're going to wash it off after a minute or two. Now, if you don't want to make your own DIY options, you want something you can travel with, carry around, it's easily kept in your purse, you think of a simple lip plumper. I actually put all of my favorite ingredients into mine. These are amazing if you haven't tried them. They're portable, so you can take them out at night with you so you get that immediate effect when you want it. The results, of course, are immediate. And with the medical grade ones, you're getting longer term effects. It's easy to reapply them. And if you use the right mix of ingredients, the lips naturally get a sexy look to them. Here's what you want to look for if you're buying these. You want to look for immediate acting ingredients, but you also want long-term lip plumping so that if you stop using them for a week, 2, 3, 4, that you're still getting the benefits from using them for the few weeks prior. So the immediate ingredients you want to think of are menthol and camphor. Those two are great. Longer term players, think of peptides, retinols, and a super power ingredient I'll tell you about in a moment that I think is phenomenal. I'll go into more depth on that one, but I did place a discount code in the more information section and in the top of the comment section of this video. I pinned it up there. If you want to try one like mine, a little gift from me to you. So of course we know retinols, and of course we know the benefits of peptides, but my superpower ingredient you want to look for is called niacin, also known as vitamin B3. It works on the lips to plump them, mainly through vasodilation. It opens up the blood vessels to the lips. There's not a lot of fat in the lips. That's why fat transfer to the lips, a lot of people ask, it often doesn't work that well. But niacin opens up the blood vessel to the fat that's already there and plumps them. When you put it on topically, it increases the blood flow and that also increases the redness. So you get improved circulation, more oxygen, a healthier, more red looking, plumper lip. Everything that we want. Niacin also improves the skin's barrier function and reduces water loss. So the lips are more plump because they're hydrated. Just like your skin, your lips need hydration, but the natural saliva and acidity sometimes of the things we drink and of our mouth can dry out the lips, and that's part of why they lose color. So this works really well and combats that. Niacin also has anti-inflammatory properties, and that reduces the underlying inflammation and irritation because a lot of people have dryness and irritation at the same time, and therefore you lose color. This combats that. Now, a third natural thing you can do, you have to go to a clinic. It's not fillers, but it's your own blood draw. I call it plasma lip, and you can go to plasmalip.com. It's a simple blood draw. Spin your blood down. You get your exosomes, your growth factors, your mesenchymal stem cells, and those rejuvenate the lip. What we see, not huge lips from this, although depending on the amount you put in, I use about 2 cc's, one in the top, one in the bottom. You get more redness and a plumping of your natural shape. Now, let's say you don't like the shape of your lip. We talked about that in the beginning. Really, the only way to change the shape of your lip is with cross-linked hyaluronic acid fillers, what you guys know as typical lip fillers. And I want to tell you a couple things here so you get your mind around this. Let's say the mouth is too small, that you think you have a smaller mouth, not wide enough. Then we can fill to the edge of the mouth to give a wider look. And fillers are robust. They're stiffer, which is why that guy said, oh, you can feel fillers, because people kind of overdo them sometimes. But it doesn't have to be that way. They can feel natural. But if you're trying to create shape, then yes, we use stiffer fillers, widening the mouth. Now, if you take this person over here, she felt she needed a little more pop to her lips. She wanted a little more attention to the lower face. And many of you aren't going to like the look of these lips, at least statically, or they may be too big. But remember, this is right after filling. So you're going to have a little swelling and they're going to look a little ducky. But if you fill towards the outside, and you have to be cautious here, filling towards the lateral aspect, you can make the lips look longer or have a wider mouth in relation to the upper face. So there's a lot of different things we could do here to the upper face for rejuvenation. But in this case, I'm demonstrating how a lip filler can, in effect, widen the mouth for some people who want that look. The next stages for her, of course, would be addressing the deep medial fat pad up here, the temples, all to balance this better. But if you have $800, a lot of times people want to start with what? The lips, because the lips are your gateway to attractiveness for many. Let's say you felt like your mouth was too wide. You can play with cheek volume, for instance, and when you fill the lips, you stay central, but having a wider cheek, if the facial dimensions can take that, that will make the mouth look narrower, or even widening the jawline if the facial angles can take that. By doing jawline filler, it widens here, thereby relatively making the mouth smaller on the face. Okay, you can see in this person over here, she felt like her mouth was too wide and she wanted a little more narrower look. She also felt a bit square. So you can see by adding a bit of filler up here in the cheek region and nothing in the lips, that will make this section wider and this section down low appear narrower. Let me remove those markings so you can see. It now looks on this side as if she's more balanced. There's a more lifted effect from just 1/2 an ml of cheek filler. So 1 ml in total is all it took to fill really in what we call the deep medial fat pad in this region here. That's not the teardrop, but it's in the cheek. And by not filling the lips, you can see she just looks a little more V-shaped, a little more balanced. And what her complaint would have been was, hey, my mouth is too wide down below. So again, restoring the V shape. So you see, it's not always about adding lip filler, but rather balancing the face. And by widening and improving the cheek effect and the cheek look, you can affect that the mouth now looks a little smaller relative to the face. And of course, over here she has a little lip gloss on, or she's at least a little more red in the lips. Over here, there's a little more flat color, so that kind of also downplays it. So you can see a great injector is going to look at the entire face as a whole, and by changing what's happening in the upper face, we create illusions in the lower face. That's why you need a great assessment from your facial injector who does a lot of these procedures. So there's lots of tricks and tips you can do, but lip fillers themselves don't have to feel stiff. You can choose soft ones, you can choose stiffer ones if you're trying to create shape. From risky to less risky, of course, we talked about the DIY recipes, not a lot of risk at all. And then the topical that I talked about, the Rajani MD Lip Plumper, pretty much no risk. And then you go to PRF. PRF is an injection, but again, it's all your own natural stuff. Your risks go down. With lip fillers, you want to think about, yes, you can get occlusion where you can block an artery. You don't really get blindness from the lips. It's theoretically possible. There are a few cases, but blindness is more with the glabella, with the nose, with the temple injections of fillers, not so much the lips. The lips we inject very superficial. Remember I said there's not much fat in the lips. It's muscle, skin, and collagen layers. We used to use cannulas, and I still do sometimes for the lips, but when you're creating shape, using the needle is pretty much just as safe as a cannula, and it allows us to shape the lips better and work on the vermilion border. So lip fillers, they're great. I like them, but you may start with your more natural and work down to your lip fillers. You can now watch this video on making your own lip plumper at home and one down here all on plasma lip or PRF injections into the lip to give color and plumpness if you want all natural, but you're willing to get injections. Stay tuned here. Keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.